All right, good morning. Welcome in. The SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue. The official healthcare provider of the Out of Bounds Show, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Bank Plus, it's more than a name, it's a promise. 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. It's a Taco Tuesday and Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. We're giving away a super, super cool high-end Modelo cooler. You can see it on our Twitter feed, Facebook, and so on. Instagram, too. To enter, we just need proof that you have the Out of Bounds radio app on your phone. Send it to us via text. Tag us in Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. Modelo cooler, that's how you enter to possibly win. We're also looking for someone to cook us some tacos tomorrow late in the show. That's right. We acknowledge that we're somewhat desperate and, beggars or something? Mike Detillier joining us now, NFL Insider, NFL Draft Insider, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. Mike joins us on the Modelo guest line. Mike, before I get into Peyton Turner, the Saints' first-round pick, Elijah Moore, I guess, fell a little bit. Still a great spot, 34th pick, second pick in the second round. But I think a lot of us thought, hey, he may go between 21 and 32. Did you think that he would go there, and were you surprised that he fell out of the first round?
I can't say I'm shocked. I'm a little surprised. I thought he'd go late in round one, but we splitting hairs here as far as there because instead of being from 24 to 32, you slide to 34. So that's not much of a drop, but he's a playmaker at the highest level, and it's a good fit. It really is. It's a good fit for him. So. You'd want it to have been that first-round pick. Financially, it certainly helps you. And you have an opportunity there, certainly in a big city, where a lot of bright lights are shown on you. Because you're not really, from a standpoint of finances, it's not that first contract. It's that second one. And so, you got an opportunity here. Certainly opportunity. But it was a little bit of a surprise that he fell out of round one. It really was.
Mike, what do you make of Aaron Rodgers? We went through this with Deshaun Watson, and then all the off-the-field stuff happened, so we're not sure exactly how that will look over the next couple months. But it looks like Aaron Rodgers is fed up with maybe Green Bay's lack of commitment to get him more offensive skill players. Do you think that he takes another snap as a Green Bay Packer?
I think for Aaron, this is all about control and power. Okay, I felt the same way about Russell Wilson. And they were able to make at least it amicable between him and Pete Carroll. I'm not sure how you're going to do this, and now people talking about, well, wait till after June 1st. Okay, I get that. But explain that to your fans that you had an opportunity early on. The Rams called you turned them down. The 49ers called, you turned them down. What's the difference now? And who's going to give you up a quarterback of means at this point? It's obvious Jordan Love is not ready, because if he was ready, you'd have dealt him off. And I think that's where the ego gets involved. Had you made the deal, let's say with San Francisco, which has the third pick in the draft, and come up with multiple picks to deal Aaron, you'd have had to use that pick on another quarterback. So what does that tell your fans? It tells them that your general manager is a complete numbskull. And he whiffed on Love. He whiffed on Jordan Love. So you got to go right back to the same spot. No one wants to be the man to follow the man. I don't care who you are. That's some big moccasins to fill when you're trying to follow Aaron Rodgers. My thing is, where's Mark Murphy in this? Isn't he the president and CEO of the Packers? Almost as though he's letting Brian take all the heat for this. Like he don't know nothing what was going on. Like what? He's clueless about what the Packers were doing? Come on, he knew every step of the way, and he went along with it. But now he's got some major pushback from a superstar with clout, major league clout. And I think we're seeing it. We talked about this weeks ago. You're seeing this more and more in sports today. Stars that now publicly can put heat on you every which way but loose, and you caught. What are you going to do now if you Green Bay? Okay, you don't want to deal him because, to be honest, he gives you the best chance to win this year.
Sure.
That's not even a debate. He gives you the best chance to win. And that's the only championship you're playing for, right? The one you're playing for this year. Man, I don't want to hear about 2022 or 2023. I want to hear about today. And he's put you in a spot where Packer fans are spoiled, okay? They spoiled now because they're winning and winning big. And we just need a little bit more to get us over the hump. And then Aaron throws a major roadblock in the way. I want out. The problem is where to deal him if you wanted to. You could say, well, maybe Denver can do it. What Denver has a quarterback that can help you today? Nothing. They have nobody there that can help you. They can give you draft choices. But what does that do for my team now? Nothing. I can maybe go to the Raiders, and, Carr would certainly, I think, be a more than serviceable quarterback there. Are the Raiders ready to do that, to give up a ton in return?
Ooh. And Mike, is that Ole and Water?
Can you imagine the friction
Gruden?
between Aaron Rodgers and John Gruden? I don't know how well that would work. Man, listen, I've heard enough stories and been around coaches who have coached with him that have told me, man, you talk about light the flame. Not that Rodgers wouldn't excel, but that the friction between those two guys, whose egos now would clash.
Ooh, give me that. Yeah, I'll take it.
But it would be a ticket to watch. It really would, to see how these two guys would work with one another. So,
hey, Mike, you talking about no oxygen in the room? If Aaron Rodgers became a Raider, there would be no oxygen in Las Vegas. It'd just be Rodgers and Gruden's.
Yeah, and we all know the issue with the Raiders is on defense. So, okay, you got Aaron, and you're going to score a ton of points, but are you going to stop anybody? So you're going to be stuck with an 8-8 team again, And so, man, I'm telling you that it's a bad situation, and you can say, well, it can't be worked out. There's only one guy that can work it out, and that's Mark Murphy. He has got to step involved here. He's got to step in.
Is he the CEO, president of the Packers?
He's the CEO and president.
Got it.
Former, NFL player with Washington. He was involved in the Players Union. And my thing with Mark is, okay, you got that job for a reason, dude. You can't sit in row 38.
No.
You've got to become now the front guy here and try to solve this issue between the general manager and the star quarterback. It's obvious LaFleur's the one caught in the middle. He can't do anything, because his job is to win games. That's what you hired him for as a head coach, win games. He understands the best chance for him to win is for Aaron Rodgers to be there. And he knows Jordan Love's not ready and may never be ready. So Mark Murphy's got to be the guy here to step up and say, you know what, we're going to work this out one way or another.
All right, let me throw this out to you. Mike Detillier, NFL insider, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. He joins us on the Modelo guest line. We're talking Aaron Rodgers. If for Aaron to go to the AFC West, he's walking into having to play Mahomes twice a year, Herbert twice a year, and Carr, who, if Gruden doesn't totally ruin him, is still viable and can beat you on a Sunday. I mean, Mike, compared to where he is right now with the Lions, I mean, Goff, okay, Kirk Cousins, okay, Chicago's got a new QB. In other words, path of least resistance for him, knowing that the clock is ticking, is to stay in the NFC in that division. You jump over to the AFC in that division, Mike, and it's I mean, the NFL is difficult, period, but it's even more difficult. Your thoughts?
It's to him.
Got it.
Because he wants to be out west. He is looking long term for himself, and he's looking at a future career outside of football. So all of that's irrelevant if who he's got to play, and it's really the Packers hold the cards here on what to do, but you had to think this out and understand that if Aaron was going to be this stubborn about it, and he is this stubborn, then, you deal into San Francisco where you could have gotten a huge bounty. But your ego was on the line because had you done that, you'd have had to use the third pick in the draft to pick a quarterback. And your general manager would have had to admit, I was wrong.
Right.
About Jordan Love. Okay, so now you got a clash here of not only personalities, you got a clash of egos. And, man, I'm telling you, that ego can take you down a bad path. Because I've seen it with a lot of coaches, a lot of players, a lot of front office types that they are going to sink or swim with something no matter what.
You saw it with Mike Ditka.
Well, Mike was semi-retired when he picked the job here. I'm not kidding you. Mike was thinking long-term commercial dealings and everything else. Mike wanted to coach, but really Mike wanted to be the personality. And I think he didn't want to put in the hours. I can tell you a very renowned, a well-known free agent came to town on a Saturday morning. He had to meet Ditka at 6:30 in the morning. Reasoning? He didn't want to break up a golf game that he had set up he had an 8:30 tee-off time. And I can tell you, one of the guys in the tee-off crew was my uncle. So I knew exactly they weren't signing that guy. I mean, you come in here, handshake, hey, how you doing? You talk to him for 15, 20 minutes. I'm out of here, man. I got a golf game I got to go to. And he was out. When they drafted Ricky, it was one of the funniest things because Buddy Diliberto and I, we were doing draft coverage for WWL at that time. And they had put us on a really high stage. And it was difficult to get up there. And Mike, with his hips and his knee, there was no way he could have walked up there. There wasn't anything for him to get up on. We actually had people, and I was one of them that helped him. We actually picked him up and put him on the stage. And
I wish I had video, Mike.
And we got him on stage. He lifted his arms up. I mean, the crowd went nuts. I mean, absolutely nuts. And so, I got back on stage, and he looked at me, and he said, this is how dictators take over foreign countries, right? And he was laughing about it, and his first question to me was, your uncle, he's still playing golf tomorrow at 9, right? I was like, yeah. He said, well, because I don't have no more picks. So he said, man, I'll have a nice, I'll see him there. No, that was his deal. Mike's priorities were never quite just football. It was golf game, commercials, a lot of other stuff. So, yeah, and so his personality and his ego certainly he didn't leave that in Chicago. Put it to you that way.
All right. So Rodgers. So if you had to bet $100, Mike, you would say that Rodgers has played his last game in Green Bay?
If I had to bet money, I say he stays.
Okay. He stays.
Because my thing about it is, man, can I go to my fans and tell them this was the best I could do for you?
No.
Man, you're going to take some major league heat. And and that's the thing about not really having an owner. This being sort of run by committee type situation, that, man, it's a tough spot. But, the best thing for me is to keep him.
Yeah, why didn't they appease him and draft Elijah Moore late in the first? I mean, wouldn't that have helped a little? You get a super talented.
At this stage, no. I think appeasing him I think that's over with at this stage. The only thing he wants to be appeased with is in another city. So no matter who you would have selected, I think last year when you made the decision to move up to pick Jordan Love, you signed over the fact that he played a little catfish with you. Everybody thought he'd cut up and raise all kind of sand about Love, and he really didn't. And he sort of got along, but he played catfish with you. And then finally, all of a sudden, he caught you. I want out. And I think that move, without him kind of being talked to about and everything else, I think sealed the deal of what you're seeing today.
Okay.
That was an easy call. That really was. To see what happened at that spot was an easy call that he would eventually. It's just like feeding the alligators, okay? You might feed that alligator for a while, but eventually you get a little too close to him, you might be what he's looking to get.
Mike Detillier, Saints insider, NFL insider on the Modelo guest line. Let's switch gears, Mike, to the Saints draft. A lot of question marks, maybe a little bit of a head scratch on Peyton Turner, defensive end out of Houston, but yet everybody seems to like Adebo out of Stanford. Just give me your 30,000 feet on the first pick in Turner and the Saints overall.
I don't think Sean was happy about this draft. I think if I put him on the lie detector, he's going to say the right things. Today he's got to. Just part of it. But he wanted to move up, way up in round one to get his shot at one of the corners. If it was J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain. And when that didn't happen, he wanted to move up to get Mac Jones. And that didn't work out either. And so, 2 picks before the guy they would have selected, Greg Newsome, they were trying to get up to get into that spot, and ends up being Peyton Turner. Nothing about Peyton Turner, the player, to be honest with you. Peyton, long, lean athlete, good-looking athlete, plays hard, has got a strong work ethic. He's built to be both edge player and also inside. Here's my issue. Was Peyton Turner ever a dominant player at the University of Houston?
No.
The answer is no. Never was. I don't care how you cut it. He never was. And people say, well, sometimes he was setting up the other guy. Setting up who? He's the best defensive lineman you got. Shouldn't they be setting him up? Come on. I don't buy any of that. That's a cover your butt statement when people tell you that. And secondly, Peyton's had a long list of injuries. We go back to his senior season of high school, throughout his career at Houston. And so my big question mark with Peyton is not talent, but health. Can he stay healthy for any length of time? 2 years ago, he played with 2 broken hands. And I give him credit. Man, it's hard to play defensive line if you can't use your hands. He was trying, and they played him at defensive tackle. Who's the numbskull that put him inside? My thing is, shouldn't he be out on the edge? So Houston put him out on the edge, and then he had injuries last year with the calf injury, a hamstring pull. He caught COVID. So, I mean, it was a tough situation. There are some people that injuries follow them. And if it follows you in high school and college, guess where else it'll follow you? Into the pros.
Right.
So the player, I get it. But the reason I didn't have him as a top 40 guy was two. He was never dominant at Houston. And secondly, that list of injuries that sort of follows people no matter what. And I think where you'll see him used this year, especially in obvious third down and passing situations, is to kick him inside. Because now I got him over a guard, an NFL guard, where he'll out-athletic him. And I can play Davenport and Granderson out on the edge and kick him and Cam inside to defensive tackle.
Okay.
So, in a lot of what they call the NASCAR package, I know Ryan Nielsen, the defensive line coach, that's what he calls it. And so, it's a bit of a surprise to me because there was no pick here in this draft that you can say that guy is going to be a starter in 2021. Pete Werner's, I think, a solid player at linebacker, but most likely, he's going to be a special teams guy in year one and maybe help a little bit in some packages. Paulson Adebo, I think, has got a chance to play because the numbers are so low at corner. But the Saints got to bring in two veteran cornerbacks at this stage. They have no choice. Adebo sat out all last year, and nothing against that. And I understand when he announced the Pac-12 wasn't playing football. Because I got people tell me, they shouldn't have picked him. He decided to opt out. Hey, geniuses, when he opted out, the Pac-12 decided not to play.
Right.
So 4 weeks later, when they decide, our coffers needed money in it, we got to play. You want him to come back and help you make money after you decided that you weren't going to play. But I think he's got the best chance to see playing time this year is Paulson Adebo.
There you go. Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans on the Modelo guest line. Appreciate it, Mike. Take care.
Thank you, buddy.
Super stuff. At Mike Detillier on Twitter. That was a fun Aaron Rodgers discussion on what could play out in Green Bay. Boy, they've got their hands full. And to me, Aaron Rodgers is holding the aces. They're not. Live in the Bank Plus studio, the show is brought to you by Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center. And visit MississippiSportsMedicine.com. Tom Luganbill at 9:30. Tom Luganbill, 9:30.